Hello, I'm Dennis Pullis. Welcome to another Open Philosophy video. In this video, we'll be continuing our discussion of knowledge. Previously in this series, I discussed knowledge as a human experience and as a subject-object relationship, as a sign, and in the last video we discussed the dynamics causing us to know. We saw that dynamics involved the existential penetration of the object into the subject, so that subject and object share a common existence. In this video we'll be looking at how that existential penetration informs us and tells us about the object as it really is. A number of philosophers have claimed that we can only know appearances and not reality. In his analogy of the cave, Plato argued that what we see is like shadows on the cave wall, that we do not see the reality which is causing the shadows. Immanuel Kant argued that we can only know phenomena, the appearances, and never the noumena, the actual reality behind the phenomena. Of course, we can ask Kant, how do we know that there is a distinct level of noumena behind the phenomena? If we can't know it, the theory is self-defeating. So how do we know? How do we know that our knowledge puts us in contact with reality? One way that we can be assured of this is what I discussed last time, that objects existentially penetrate us in the acts of sensing and knowing, or, as Aristotle argued, that one reality, our act of knowing, actualizes two potencies, the object's ability to be understood and our ability to understand. One actuality can't complete two potencies unless those potencies are involved in a single dynamical process. These arguments allow us to see that we are in contact with the objects of our knowledge, but they do not make clear how the information defining the object becomes the content of our knowledge. How is it that objects inform us of their reality? How is it that objects reveal themselves to us? In order to answer this question, we need to consider the nature of information. Claude Shannon, the founder of information theory, defined information as the reduction of possibility. The number of logical possibilities which are available prior to our receiving the information is reduced by the information we receive. For example, before we first perceive an apple, it's logically possible that that apple may not exist, but after we've received it, that logical possibility has been eliminated, and so the number of possibilities has been reduced by the information we've experienced. Now let's review a little metaphysics from video 36, where I discussed essence and existence. Plato gave us a wonderful idea of how to think about being in his dialogue The Sophist. There he wrote, "I suggest that anything has real being that is so constituted as to possess any sort of power either to affect anything else or to be affected, in however small degree, by the most insignificant agent, though it be only once. I am proposing, as a mark to distinguish real things, that they are nothing but power." This leads us to formulate a dynamic ontology, one in which existence is the ability to act in the world. Anything that can act certainly must exist. What cannot act can never be known, and would never therefore be thought of as an instance of existence. So to exist is to be able to act. In the same way, we can explain the idea of essence, of what a thing is, by looking at the specification of its possible acts. If something can reflect red light, it's red. If something can act like an apple, then it's an apple. This gives us a very clear way of thinking about essence and existence in terms of acts and the specification of acts. It need not be any more complicated than that. Now let's put these two ideas together. Shannon's definition of information as a reduction in possibility, and my analysis of existence in terms of the ability to act. When something acts on us, we know that it exists, and the possibility that it did not exist is eliminated. Therefore, we are truly informed of its existence. And when it acts on us in a particular way, when it affects our senses in a particular way, then we know that it can act on us in that way, and that is a partial insight into the specification of its possible acts. Before we were acted on, we did not know whether or not it could act on us in that way. Now that we are acted on, now that we do sense it, we know that it can act on us in that sensory way. And so each act of sensation serves to inform us about some aspect, some projection of a thing's essence. Now remember from our earlier videos that a projection is a dimensionally reduced mapping. For example, a picture is a two-dimensional map of a three-dimensional object. In the same way, we can consider the dimensions of information. These dimensions can be specified by yes or no answers to any possible act. And as we learn that there are yes answers to some possible acts, we begin to form a partial but incomplete map of the specification of possible acts of the thing's essence. And so our sensations truly do inform us about the essence of things, about their true reality, about the noumena, and not just about phenomena. Thank you for watching, and please leave comments.